The Silicon Valley skyline at night looks like a circuit board of gold and silver light, a testament to the power of human innovation. But inside the ultra-secure, triple-locked penthouse of Nicholas Draco, those circuits were carrying a deadly current. Nicholas, a visionary who turned a $1,000 investment into a $500 million cryptocurrency empire, was found dead in his ergonomic chair. The windows were reinforced glass, locked from the inside. The biometrically secured door showed no forced entry. A bottle of prescription pills sat neatly on his mahogany desk, next to a half-empty glass of water. To the local police, it was a textbook case, the tragic suicide of a high-pressure tech mogul crushed by the volatility of the market. But in the world of high-stakes code, nothing is ever that clean. Within exactly 60 minutes of his heart stopping, his private digital wallets protected by military-grade encryption, were drained to the last cent. Today, on Justice Journals, we enter a courtroom where the murderer didn't leave a single fingerprint, but left a digital trail in the most unexpected place in the house. The legal battle was ignited by Maya Draco, Nicholas's younger sister and a world-class cybersecurity consultant. She knew her brother better than anyone. He was a fighter who thrived on chaos, not a man who would ever surrender. Across the aisle sat Ethan Thorne, the co-founder of Draco Systems and Nicholas's best friend since their garage startup days. Ethan appeared as a man destroyed by grief, his eyes red and his voice trembling. But he was also the man who, within hours of the death, presented the smart will. This digital document, uploaded to the private blockchain just 4 minutes before Nicholas's estimated time of death, transferred all company shares, intellectual property, and private keys to Ethan Thorne. Your Honor, Ethan's lead attorney, a legendary litigator known for representing the tech elite, addressed the bench with absolute confidence. My client is being victimized during his darkest hour. Nicholas Draco was a man under immense federal scrutiny for tax evasion. He was cornered, he was exhausted, and he chose to leave his life's work in the hands of the only person he trusted. This smart will is immutable. It was signed with Nicholas's unique 24-digit master key and verified by a 3D biometric thumbprint scan from his own personal laptop. Unless the prosecution is suggesting a ghost reached out from the afterlife to sign this document, there is no case here. This was a man saying goodbye. But Maya Draco didn't look at the will. She didn't even look at Ethan. She looked at the technical floor plans of the penthouse projected on the courtroom screen. Your Honor, Maya said, her voice cutting through the room like a laser, my brother was a genius of security. He had a hardware-level firewall on his servers and encrypted air-gapped backups. He lived in a digital fortress, but even the strongest fortress has a weak point. Ethan Thorne knew that while the front gate was locked, the cat flap was wide open, and he used it to commit the perfect murder. The courtroom fell into a heavy silence as Maya called her star witness, Dr. Aris Thorne, no relation to Ethan, a senior forensic investigator specializing in the Internet of Things, or IoT. Dr. Aris projected a massive, glowing map of the penthouse's network traffic. We analyzed every single byte of data from the night of the death. At 11:42 p.m., just 13 minutes before Nicholas's heart stopped, there was an unauthorized administrative entry into the home network. It didn't come through the main router or the encrypted laptop. It originated from the smart coffee machine in the kitchen, a high-end Wi-Fi-enabled Italian model that Nicholas used every single night. The defense erupted in laughter. A coffee maker? Are we honestly entertaining the idea that a kitchen appliance is a hired assassin? The defense lawyer mocked. It wasn't an assassin, it was a bridge, Maya retorted, standing up to face the jury. Ethan Thorne knew Nicholas's routine perfectly. Every night at 11:45 p.m., Nicholas drank a cup of decaf while checking the midnight markets. Ethan discovered a zero-day vulnerability in the coffee machine's unpatched firmware. He used a remote man-in-the-middle attack to tunnel through that machine, bypassed the main security hub, and gained full administrative God mode over the entire smart home system. Once he was inside the network, he didn't just steal files, he took control of the environment Nicholas breathed in. The real horror surfaced when Maya presented the medical logs from Nicholas's synchronized smartwatch. Nicholas was a type 1 diabetic. He used an automated, network-connected insulin pump, she explained. Ethan Thorne hacked the internal clock of the smart fridge, which managed the insulin pump's data. By making the system believe it was 3 a.m. instead of 11:45 p.m., they triggered a massive dawn phenomenon correction dose. A lethal surge of insulin was injected into Nicholas's bloodstream while he was sitting in that chair, paralyzed by the sudden drop in blood sugar. He didn't take those pills. He was already slipping into a fatal hypoglycemic coma when Ethan remotely triggered the computer to display a fake suicide note on the screen. "But what about the thumbprint?" the judge interrupted, leaning forward in fascination. "The smart will requires a physical touch on the laptop sensor. How do you explain that if Mr. Thorne was miles away?" "The coffee machine, again," Maya said, pointing to the screen. "That specific model has a touch-screen interface. Nicholas used his thumb to select his brew every night. A week before the murder, Ethan sent a technician, actually a paid hacker, to service the machine. They installed a high-resolution optical scanner behind the glass. Every time Nicholas pressed start, his biometric thumbprint was being harvested and transmitted to Ethan's server. Ethan used a high-precision 3D resin printer to create a synthetic biometric sleeve of Nicholas's thumb. He didn't need to be there. He had a remote-controlled robotic arm, a simple enthusiast's kit, hidden inside the desk's cable management tray. With one click from his office, the arm pressed the resin thumb onto the sensor, signing the will and emptying the wallets while my brother gave his final beat. The tension in the courtroom snapped like a high-tension wire. Ethan Thorne, who had been the picture of composure, suddenly stood up, his face a ghostly shade of white. He tried to speak, but only a dry rasp came out. He turned toward the exit, but the doors were already blocked by federal marshals. The data logs didn't lie. They showed the connection originating from Ethan's private IP address, masked by 3 layers of VPNs that Maya had painstakingly unpeeled. The judge's gavel hit the bench with a sound that echoed like a gunshot. She didn't just invalidate the smart will, she ordered the immediate arrest of Ethan Thorne on charges of first-degree murder, grand laundry, and high-tech fraud. Nicholas Draco's empire was eventually restored to his sister, and the $500 million were recovered from a cold storage vault Ethan hadn't yet managed to hide. But the penthouse remained empty and dark, a silent, chilling monument to a man who lived by the code and was ultimately betrayed by the very technology he believed would set him free. In an age where our toasters, our fridges, and our watches are all smart, are we making our lives easier, or are we just providing more ways for the shadows to get in? If your home is listening, do you know who is on the other end of the line? Let us know your thoughts in the comments below. This has been Justice Journals. Subscribe for more deep dives into the terrifying intersection of technology and the law. The court is adjourned.